Hello everybody. In this report, we're going to examine the Lean Startup by Eric Reis. So an outline of what we'll cover here is this is a startup methodology that honestly has revolutionized technology startups and changed Silicon Valley forever. But the methodology itself focuses primarily on customer needs or wants. And then what you do is you go through this process that the author introduced as validated learning. That is, where traditional businesses are trying to identify a need or want to deliver or to address for customer clients, that is their target market. This methodology focuses on identifying a customer need or want and testing it through rigorous methods to make certain that you've identified a need or want that's worth pursuing. And the book introduces what's called the Build, Measure, Learn framework. And in doing so, what you're doing, you're coming up with a value and growth hypothesis. That is, you're first saying, does the idea that I've come up with to address and identify customer need or want offer enough or the right type of value to customers? So you come up with hypotheses about this. Yes, it will meet this customer need. Yes, it will solve this problem. Yes, it will be desired to this extent. And then you come up with growth hypotheses, and that's more about the feasibility of the business. That is, does it have the potential to scale out? Can we scale this out or reproduce this product or this model at sufficient scale for it to be worth the cost of doing so? And thus it returns the type and amount of value you desire. So you come up with these hypotheses and then you test them. And you test them in many different ways to ultimately try to identify what are the right metrics. What are the metrics that are going to tell you whether this idea significantly meets the value needs or the growth needs of the business. So with that being said, ultimately you're trying to minimize your value offering down to what we call a minimum viable product. That is, you identify the minimum characteristics of your value proposition that are going to meet customer, client, end user needs or wants. And this is verified through the data. You'll do things like customer surveys, introductions, alpha tests, and then monitoring. You may look at any type of secondary metric that you can identify that once again gets to these ultimate hypotheses that you've come up with, so you can come to a conclusion of whether you believe your hypothesis is supported or is not supported. That is, so you reject it and then you pivot or move away from that business. So once you have your minimum viable product, you do an A/B test and you're putting it out there. A/B test is when you have alternatives and you're positioning the product in one way or the features of the product in one way, or you're positioning it in another way. It could be that you're introducing it to two different product markets. It could be that you're minimizing the presence of one value proposition over another to see which people prefer. It could be that you're simply packaging it differently or presenting it differently to see which one is preferred by the customer or client market. And then whatever your results are, whatever you get from this directed study of how the customer perceives whatever value proposition you're delivering to them, you take that feedback and you act upon it. You either change the product, or if it doesn't work out, if it's not meeting your hypotheses, you pivot and you try this measure all over again. That is, when you say pivot, you're moving strategically either to focus on a new target group, to take some other competitive bent for how you're going to compete with existing products out there in the market. And you may jump into a completely different market with your product, or you may change the value proposition altogether such that the same customers, you're addressing a different need or want. And this is the primary focus of the pivot. You're addressing a different need or want, and it could be through any means or method, but in essence, you are changing direction. And then the idea behind it is, in order to fully test this, you must get started as efficiently and effectively as possible without wasting money. You must identify what is going to work without investing all the resources and time of building out a finished product. So you start up lean and cheaply, meaning that you test as cheaply as possible, you develop the process as cheaply as possible so that you can fully test it. And once you get the validated feedback that you're looking for, that is, you fully believe that the data supports that this venture is going to work. This value proposition is going to succeed. It's going to deliver the right value, and it's going to have the right potential for growth in the markets you've identified. That's when you can begin to invest more resources in refining the product and scaling it out and trying to grow it. So in essence, this is what is the Lean Startup Methodology by Eric Reis. Hello everybody. I hope you're enjoying the content, and please pardon the interruption. I just want to take a moment to remind you that this is just a small sample of the various resources we have in our academy at thebusinessprofessor.com. We have long-form book summaries, business courses, business and legal templates, a career TV channel, an AI-powered business encyclopedia, recent headlines, and lots of other benefits to explore as well. So please, I hope to see you as a member of the community sometime in the future.